Alrighty, everyone. Thank you for having me here. And today I'm going to be presenting how we use AI in protocol security. But before we get into the technical details, I'm just going to be giving an introduction about myself and the team that I work for. So let's just get started. Actually, this doesn't work. Give me a minute. No, it doesn't work yet. Oh, is it working now? Perfect. So I'm Antoine. I'm 23-year-old, and I'm a university dropout. Prior to working for the Ethereum Foundation, I was doing Web2 security. And after that, I've done formal verification for a bit, working for a company based in France using COC language. And in parallel to that, I was also doing Web3 security contests on competition platforms such as Sherlock, Cantina, Code Arena, and stuff like that. And so who are we and what do we do at the Ethereum Foundation? So we're a team of about 10 people. We actually just recruited 2 new members to that team. And we're also looking for additional members. So if you go on the careers page of the Ethereum Foundation, you'll be able to find, I think, an AI position right now, because we're looking to expand into that field. And things about what we do fuzzing, we do manual reviews and research. So for fuzzing, we do have public tools, and we have private tools as well. Public tools are public available to everyone, and private tools, we keep them private for certain reasons. Most of the reasons are we want them to be battle tested internally for about 6 months to 9 months before releasing them out to the public. And the reason for that is we don't want to have people finding bugs in Ethereum ecosystem prior to us. And so if we find them and we battle test our fuzzer, and then we can release it after 6 months, then we can know for sure that at least 99% of bugs would have been eliminated by then. We also do manual reviews of the EL and CL. So EL stands for Execution Layer, and CL stands for Consensus Layer clients, mainly such as Besu, Nethermind, Aragon, Go Ethereum, Ref. And for the CL side, we also have Lighthouse, Prism, and stuff like that. And we also do reviews of EIPs. So for the next fork of Fusaka, we have a few EIPs that will be included in this fork, and we had to do some reviews on them. So as well, manual review of the changes that have been implemented in the clients. And we also have a research department. So this is kind of a more, when we don't have anything specific to work on, we can work on whatever we feel like it's interesting and that will contribute to the ecosystem. So that includes client diversity. We have a website that shows the statistics of clients that are being used and their share of the Ethereum ecosystem running on it. We also do ZK and cryptography. So this is great, but what next? We have AI, so we want to accelerate our security reviews within the ecosystem. And for that, as you know, there's been the rise of LLMs for now a few years, with Claude leading the market and ChatGPT as well, and Gemini and DeepSeek as well coming here additionally to enhance some specific part of it. And I'm going to talk about why Gemini, for example, is useful for specific tasks and why Claude would be useful for something else. Sorry. So I'm just going to be presenting our tools. We have 4 of them as of now. Most of them are public or going to be public within the week. We're actually just making a few changes, and then we're going to be releasing them. Our team lead will also make a tweet this week about the tool that he has done, and it will be available to the public. So the first tool that we have is a spec verifier. We had an intern for about a few months at the Ethereum Foundation, and he has done this as part of his internship. So the goal of it is to have an equivalence verification. Basically, we have specification, and we want to make sure that the clients are correctly implementing this specification within the client, and that to make sure that this is correctly implemented, we go through different methods of verification. So we have the deterministic and probabilistic verification methods. So there's different stages that are being done for this project, and this is all done by the intern itself. He has been assisted by a senior member of our team for the client side because he was lacking knowledge about blockchain and consensus layer in general, but he quickly picked up, so that's very great. So the first stage is spec ingestion, and we want to parse the specification and load them into a database. The second stage is client extraction. So we use Lighthouse because it's the most used client for the consensus side. It has currently, I think, a 41% share. And so we want to do some function extraction from Lighthouse and extract all the functions that are being used within the code of this consensus client. The stage C is function matching. So using LLMs again, we want to pair which function is corresponding to which specification. And the last stage is probabilistic verification. So using LLM, we want to ask, with specific prompts and detailed prompts, is this function matching the specification? Is it lacking specific edge cases? And the last feature is advanced features. So we can select specific functions, mapping database, and analysis tools. So just to give you a broad idea and a bit of a scheme, this is kind of the cycle that this software is using. So first of all, injections, and it creates spec symbols in the database. Then the second stage is client ingestion, as I mentioned. So we want to ingest the client code into the database as well. The first stage is deterministic matching. So we verified static symbols like constant configurations and stuff like that are matching the specification names. And we output that as well to the database. And then the last step is LLM matching. So using a variety of LLMs, and you can actually choose which LLM you want to use. It verifies the logic compliance within the function that the content of the function is matching the specification. And then if specs are updated, then the database are updated as well, and the workflow will repeat itself. And this is a tool that you can run manually as well if you want to verify a specific function, for example. But overall, we have a cycle that is verifying all clients, and starting with Lighthouse, but we'll deploy with other clients in the future. The next tool that we have is called ETHSofia. And so this tool is basically kind of the same as the previous one, but this is a manual tool. The first stages was done by AI, and actually a lot of it was done by AI, 90%, I think. And the idea is to give out specification for the code as well, for the developers to keep track of changes and make it easier for third parties and protocol security reviewers as well to verify clients and that the specification adhere to what the client has implemented. So just to show off a few examples, this is ETHSofia list tag, so it's a command available once you install the package. And it lists out the functions that are being used in every fork. So you have, for example, add flag, which is used in alter. You have the new add polynomial coef that is being used in Fulu. And so it just lists out all the specifications all the functions that will be used in the specifications. This is the template that we use for naming specification and then adding the source. So where is it in the file and the function lines, etc., as well as a regex or a search method to be able to find it easily. So you can just Control-Shift-F and find it across your project. And then the spec as below is the function name and the fork. So just an example of how it is used in Teku, for example, which is a consensus client for Java, written in Java. So we have the function max blob per block in Electra in the previous fork. And so it says that it is within the file Ethereum spec, src main, etc., to the mainnet YAML file. And so to be able to search that, because it is quite a long name, it's just the name itself. We don't have a specific regex for that. And the specification mentions that the function is max blob per block. It is within the fork Electra, and it should be uint of 9. And if you go within the file and search for it, then you find, obviously, the line for that. So everything is basically written. For now, I think we have an implementation of that in Teku, in Prism, and in Lighthouse as well. And the idea is, to keep a track of this, and is actually also verified in CI. So whenever we push new changes, if there's a mismatch between the specification that is within the code and the code itself, then it will trigger something, an error on the CI, and then you can adjust the specification. So what is the difference between those two tools? As I mentioned, one is intended to be manually updated by core devs, which is ETHSofia. So the baseline, the skeleton of it is already written by AI, but then if you want to maintain it, it requires like manual intervention. But it also has better precision rather than the fully automated LLM thing that we have discovered previously that has been written by our intern, Harsh. So the Ethereum Code Reviewer, this is the tool that has been built by our team lead, Frederick. And the idea behind this is that every time a new PR is pushed, we want to make sure that this PR isn't dangerous for the ecosystem. So we have a list of clients that we monitor, and then so we have EL clients and CL clients. And so the reviewer will just review the changes with, again, different LLMs. So you have one model available, or you can also choose the multimodal judging option. For photos, I'm just going to illustrate the idea. So this is the landscape that we have when we arrive on the web page. So for this, I selected the repo Blue Alloy REVM, which is the EVM implementation written in Rust, and that is used by the Rust Ethereum client, ref. And so we can see that we have two suspicious PRs that have been detected. And so it is actually by open source contributors, so obviously people can make mistakes. And even when you review it, you can also just miss a few things. This is the idea. So when you click on it, you get the repository, the branch, the commit, etc. So you can just click on it and view it instantly. On the right side, you can assign it yourself, and then also triage if it's a true positive or a false positive. And you get a confidence score that is being built basically by AI. And the multi-judge analysis is selecting different models. So we have Claude, we have Gemini, we have DeepSeek, ChatGPT, and we use the latest models for everything. This is a description of how it looks like. So basically it says there's a gas error. It used the value 1,200 in the EIP 2537 instead of the 12,000 mentioned. So it say, what's the issue? So you can obviously analyze, the LLM just will analyze the EIP and says that this represents a 10x underpricing for the operation. And it links that to the correct operation, which is BLS. What can happen, obviously, well, they can mass compute these transactions because it will cost such minimal fees. And how to fix it, it gives the path of the file as well, and we need to change the values. It actually also gives you a code diff if you want to have a look at it. And on the right, we can see the PR that has made the change to just correct this. A second example, which is quite similar, actually, we use the value OX something instead of 23,000. So we use the decimal instead of the hexadecimal instead of the decimal. And as you can see right below, in the code example, it says before and after. So it gives you a proper idea on how to correct this. So we have a few true positives for now, and we keep monitoring this as well. But it will be open source this week. And the last thing is ETHSpec Viewer. So this is a tool that has been built, again, by one of the seniors in our team. And the idea is just to review fork specification. It turns out it's been really useful to core devs and as well as security guys. And the idea is that you have this page, and you can search for specific specification, filter by fork, etc. And you can look for configuration variables, constant, etc. that needs to be implemented. So this is really good as well. And this is another example. So you have this function that's been changed in Electra, I suppose, add validator to registry. And so you have the new definition of what should be implemented within the Electra fork. Underneath, you can see the Alter fork and see the difference for itself. And you've got all these functions. Again, this has been built 99% by AI. So we just ingested all the code with Gemini because it has a large context window. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I'm just going to give you a few links if you want to have a look at them as well. I don't know if you have access to the presentation, but you should have after the event. And you can also go on the team link and see what we do, and the responsibility link as well. And for the people, Harsh is the intern that has been interning with us and has built the spec reviewer tool. Justin is the senior of the team that has been mentoring him and also building two of the tools. And Frederick is our team lead. So I'd be happy to take any questions if you guys have.